Hello, my name's Artemis, and it is, of course, Pride Month. Happy Pride Quiz. I can say that because I'm one of you. And it's easy to see that we're accepted, right? You can see that all of these companies are using it as a marketing strategy to try and sell us a bunch of rainbow-themed merch, which they're not really putting that much effort into, and then obviously funding and supporting people who want to take our rights away for the rest of the year, and generally being massive fucking hypocrites. Now, it's pretty easy for the LGBTQIA+ community to know exactly what the stakes are and know exactly where we stand in this world right now and what exactly we're facing. But it seems like a lot of people are burying their heads in the sand. And it seems like a lot of people, for instance the furries, seem to have the wrong idea of what exactly we're facing. Or at least they know it intellectually, but they don't seem to know it in practice. And as much as I'd like to celebrate, as much as I'd like to be all happy and wonderful and safe and secure, we're not really that safe or secure, and I feel more people need to know about that because complacency is the real enemy here. We need to be doing something about all of this. So let's dive in and see if I can't remind you just exactly what the situation is and what kind of world we're living in. Okay, I get it. Disney has been furry baiting for years, as have a lot of other folks, and generally the sight of anthro characters and even fursuits is generally more visible and accepted than it was perhaps when I joined this thing, which wasn't even that long ago, but to be fair, that was quite a low bar. It would be so easy to think that because there's so many furries around and so many furries have big followings and fur cons attract tens of thousands of people each and every time, that we're accepted. We are mainstream. We are free to be out loud and proud of ourselves everywhere, all the time. Okay, hold on. It's like the whole fucking litter trays in school thing never fucking happened. That should have been an eye-opener to all of us. Now, drag is arguably a lot older than the furry fandom, and even though that's got Drag Race bringing a huge mainstream spotlight to it and all this normalization around it, they're still facing drag bans that are having to be fought in courts. This is the exact same shit that we're facing. We don't even have the mainstream spotlight to try and help us out with it. One of the big appeals of the fandom is that it's not the normal world, that the normal world is actually boring and something that does not enrich our souls, and we need to escape from it. It's that escapism that's the real fucking key. We recognize that we are not a part of all of this system and it just doesn't really gel with who we are as people, and we want to find people closer to our tribe, with the implication being that we are not normal. This is something that I think we take pride in, whereas the people that seek to take us down use it as a weapon. Now, of course, I do understand that we all want to live in a more tolerant world, and as much as sometimes it feels like we're going backwards, we are still in a better position now than we were in the past. But some of that better position came from living in the sort of world that we want to be living in, even if we're not, and some of it came from accepting that we're never actually going to be normal or accepted by these people, that that is not the goal, that we don't need their fucking approval. All we need is tolerance. All we need is to have the same rights afforded to us that is afforded to them. And unfortunately, as you'll see later on in this video, normality and these rights, it's a very shaky fucking prospect these days. Now, this little safety net of feeling like we are normalized and accepted, which is, by the way, false, is about as full of holes as a net, which doesn't really make a lot of sense because nets are full of holes. But actually, no, maybe it does. But whatever. When you tend to feel like, oh, actually we are accepted and we are normalized and social media is not lying to me, you tend to let your freak flag fly just a little bit higher and live your life just a little bit louder. Now, I am fully in support of this. In fact, I think everybody should be dressing for themselves, regardless of what the norms of society are, within reason, you know, because yeah, we're not putting fetish gear in public and putting those words in my mouth. I'm just saying that now. But we should all be allowed to wear what we want to wear and present how we want to present and live our lives on our own terms. And a lot of people do that. They wear what they want to wear despite the fact it's going to make them a bit more eye-catching to people. But the thing is, they sort of do this knowing that there is an inherent risk to that, and that there are people out there that will seek to target the things that they don't like. And if you start dressing in these ways, you will be the sort of person they target. You kind of have to accept that level of risk, not because it's a world that we want to live in, but because unfortunately it is the world we do. Now, the more that you start to see fursuiters going out into the wilds of public and fursuiting and having all these cute little interactions and making meme videos and whatnot, the more you start to think that this is fine. You can go to Walmart, you can go to beauty spots, you can go to busy parts of the town and be totally fucking safe because people are great with furries these days, right? Wrong. the truth is, every single time you put this suit on around non-furries, you are making yourself a target for people who want to target people. And it's a huge fucking risk that I don't think everybody is fully understanding when they go and do this thing. Now, I'm sure we've all seen the videos floating around of fursuiters being assaulted in the street, and it's happened a couple of times now, and probably dozens more behind the scenes that we've not seen yet because it didn't go viral. And I don't want to victim blame here, and that's not what I'm going to do, but what these videos do actually do is illustrate the dangers that are out there. You can go and fursuit 100 times, and perhaps only one of those times in public is the time that was a trouble for you, but it's that one time that you're going to remember, and it's that one time that could severely impact you. Weymouth, where I fucking live. Very beautiful place, lots of great spots for photos. I mean, it's a shithole, but lots of good photography spots that I would love to have gone as Artemis. But I recognise the danger in doing that, and I recognise the sort of people around there, and I did not do it. I could have been wrong, but it's better than finding out and realising, oh no, I was right. Now, that's the sort of thing you need to remember when you want to go and do these things. This gets even scarier when I see people solo suiting in public on their own. And I am really happy when they are totally okay in the end of it, because the recent geopolitical climate has emboldened a lot of people who are not very nice. In fact, they are mostly ruled by hate. And when they see something they hate, they are not shy at the moment of letting you know that they fucking hate you. And they do. And when they see someone on their own, well, that's a recipe for some real fucking nasty stuff that I really hope does not come to pass. But that is the risk you take when you step outside like this and no fucking support or handlers around you. Please don't do that. I don't want people to have to repress themselves. I want them to have fun. I want them to be themselves and to enjoy these things, but I want them to do it safe. And you should all be looking at the safest way to do that. There are safeties in numbers, okay? Do not go doing these things on your own because that's a recipe for disaster. Do it with people, do it with friends. Go out in a group because people are less likely to challenge a group. Know an escape route. Know how you're getting home safely. Know all of the very common sense things when you're going out into public. I feel like this level of complacency, thinking that everything's totally fine, has stopped people thinking about these potential dangers and risks, and they're starting to find out. I would rather we think about it ahead of time and don't have to find out. Human history is filled with the outliers of society being demonized, shunned, and eradicated. And you don't need to look that far to see that in action. It's a very clever system. It's a good way of getting people to invest in it, because the people that do conform are made to feel like they're a part of something. And then when they see how people who don't conform are treated, it makes them feel lucky that they're not being treated the exact same way. It puts that fear into them to repress the parts of themselves that are not sanitized. We've seen this with genders, we've seen this with races, we've seen this with orientations, and we'll continue to see it, unfortunately, as this cycle seems inevitable. But essentially, they're always going to be trying to demonize us and brand us as dangers, because ultimately, that's what we are to their status quo. And that's what they seek, us being the danger that they need to eradicate. Unfortunately, we will likely always carry the same accusations they choose to wield against all of those who have come before us. Whether it's transgender people, whether it's homosexuals, whether it's drag queens, anybody that they deem a danger, they decide to say is a danger to children, a danger to family values, a danger to women's rights. It's the easy weapon that they know to pick up and throw our fucking way. And like it or not, the general consensus will take one look at us and agree. And if you don't think that's true, just look at the results of the last elections we've seen. Now, don't get me wrong, our rights are in a much better place now than they have been in a lot of parts of human history, but recent events all around the world have shown us that they are not as immutable as we have been led to believe, and that they are not permanent. They can be debated and they can be taken away. Transgenderism and same-sex rights and marriage have been a part of human civilizations across the fucking globe for millennia at this stage. And yet it's 2025, and the whole concept of how somebody identifies and lives their life is somehow a political weapon that can be picked up and smacked around with. At the root of this, you have some very systemic problems with the fact that people are brought up believing that other people are lesser than them and they do not deserve the same level of rights and equality that they themselves enjoy. You see this reflected against, well, anybody LGBTQIA. You see this reflected against women. You see this reflected against ethnicities and foreign nationalities. In fact, you see this reflected against anyone who isn't cis-het normative, basically. We are told from an early age that they are better than us, and that we should not be accepted, which is why acceptance is not something we can ever really truly gain from some of these people. It's tolerance, and we have to accept that tolerance is what we're looking for, because when they are happy to say that that person is lesser than me and deserves less, I don't want that person's acceptance. I don't need that, okay? I don't want to agree with someone who's that fucking wrong. The rights that we have were hard won from people who did not want to give them up, and complacency is the real enemy that we are facing. I get it, you want to be vocal on social media, but no amount of tweeting is ever going to change someone's mind or save you. We need to be active in these spaces. Pride started as a protest, and it has to continue as such. It's the only way they're going to accept that we are not fucking going anywhere. The people that we are up against, the people that seek to take us down and remove our rights, are damaged, broken people. They have failed in their lives to find peace and happiness, and they cannot comprehend the idea that someone they deem lesser than themselves has. So they have to take it away from us too, because if they're miserable, why the fuck should anybody else be happy? We can't fix them, and we can't fix their lives, and they seem to be incapable of fixing their own fucking problems. It's bucket of crabs time, bitches. They're just looking to drag us down to their fucking level. We can't let that happen. We just cannot. We do not go backwards in this fucking life, we only go forwards. And that comes from taking action, that comes from protesting, from making sure that every elected official knows your fucking name, because you're messaging them the whole time to tell them what exactly their fucking job is. And it is not owed to these fucking people, okay? Constitution of our world is built on personal freedom. Why the fuck that is up for debate is beyond me, but we absolutely cannot be the ones that do not turn up to the fucking debate, okay? Now, obviously, this is a very doom and gloom style video, and I don't mean it to be as such, but unfortunately we live in a slightly doom and gloom situation at the moment, and it doesn't seem to be getting better in any real part of the world. You can say that it's part of just one country, but it's actually a general mentality in a lot of countries, and that's the real scary part of it, is that it's still prevalent in 2025 and it's still being supported. But we can still fight that shit. I mean, things looked worse than this in the past and they still fought it and they won. That's all we've got to do, is actually realise what the situation is and act accordingly. This isn't what it used to be, where Pride was something that everybody celebrated. I've barely seen that much about Pride so far. It seems like we're all just keeping it in the closet this year, and we ain't going backwards, fuckers. You live your life happy, you live your life proud, you live it out loud. You do it cautiously, and you do it with an emphasis on your safety, but we don't hide, and we don't stop fighting. We get out there, and we vote, and we make our voices heard, and we make a stand, and we make sure that every goddamn elected official knows exactly who the fuck it is they represent, okay? So let's do that. And let's just all please be a little bit safer, because I do believe we can achieve the world that we want to live in, but I don't believe it's the world we currently live in, and we need to be more realistic about that. But there we go. There's my soapbox speech for Pride. Hope you enjoyed it. If you were thinking that I made some good points and that maybe I'm quite good at this speaking thing, get ready to lose some respect for me as I shamelessly plug a bunch of sites you can go to pay me money, some of which are me flaunting my feet. And paws. Don't forget the paws, because we do both. Yeah, I know it's kind of weird to make an important point and then just follow it up with this, but I got bills to pay, so, you know, help me out. Help a doggo out. There's also the Patreon, which is less feet-orientated, but there are options for that, which obviously helps us continue doing what we're doing and helps us with our life and generally, you know, keeping it a thing that exists, which would be lovely, arguably. But yeah, thank you for watching. Happy Pride, everybody. Let's make sure we keep things moving forward rather than let complacency slide us backwards. And never forget that you are loved, you are accepted, you are who you are, and that is enough. And this is a month to celebrate and realise that and feel safety within your community whilst we fight the fuck back. Don't ever let yourself get absorbed into the propaganda, alright? Don't listen to what they say. You are worthy. Serious note to end on.